Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of these video blogs, whereby I'm trying to expose to you what, from a particular perspective, which is not exactly a personal perspective, but it's a transpersonal perspective. It is the perspective of everything that we are. Um, Using the rational mind, we can logically explain a particular type of knowledge, of experience, which provides for other people um, a methodology. It provides a methodology which can explain how to actually go, instead of having a life which always, let's say you have the way that you are, you never really change. You go from doing, let's say, 3 mistakes every 24 hours to, when you die, doing 3.6 mistakes every 24 hours, because you got a little bit of, confusion, prejudice. You got all these bad, negative things that happen to you in life that change the way you behaved, and eventually, at the end, you are the way you are. To going from 3 mistakes a day to no mistakes at all, and pure. Uh, I would say there is no word for it, because it would carry, by doing nothing. Um, it not only would have the effects of letting go, you know, letting go of a desire to then do what is actually needed at the time. Let me give you an example. Is there a proper way to cook a steak that should not eat, right? Is there a proper way to shoot yourself in the head when you're not supposed to shoot yourself in the head? There isn't one. So a lot of the times people are making mistakes because they're trying to do things which they ought not to do. So the inner peace, which allows you to do nothing from an experiential standpoint, is what you people need to obtain. And that is a breathing rhythm. It's actually a rhythm of breathing. This is a subtle thing. This is not something that you will appreciate. You will appreciate it by the content of the information that you're able to speak, depending. And you will see that sometimes when people speak, when I speak, I do pauses. I need to then recuperate the rhythm, which then, provides for you the right information. This is not something which is done consciously. It's something that you feel you are a machine, and the way that you breathe makes the machine produce the right word, the right thought, the right idea. This is called this is a pure type of information that you can provide to the world. If you express yourself while you are anxious, unfortunately, you transmit the anxiety in your words. And lots of people today are fucking antennas of anxiety, of inner restlessness. And these people, unfortunately, they disturb kids, they disturb children, and they are very destructive. Children, unfortunately, in this world don't have a method to protect themselves. If their parents are drug addicts, they live in the life, if the government doesn't take them away, then they will be exposed to the extremely negative world of drugs, such as heroin, or any other drug, which then changes your behavior, unfortunately. And then, these children are then exposed to having a sad relationship with a parent that potentially would have never committed or done the things they do. And I think at times I've seen cases of parents prostituting their children in order to get drugs. The types of crazy things people do just to get drugs is a sign that, nobody would naturally do that. It's absolutely horrible, but it still happens in this world. And these children cannot protect themselves, which is partly what makes the whole thing so dramatic, or so horrible. Is that in any case, folks, You need to learn how differences in your breathing manifest into a different type of information. This, you will learn it, folks. You will learn it because the breath disturbs. When it leaves your body, it disturbs. When you speak, there is, give me another example. In the beginning, there was the word, and this is an example so you can appreciate it from a conscious standpoint, from something that reflects in something you already know. In the beginning, there was God. God was the Word was with God. Before the beginning, God was in its totality. Then God created the totality and then became the totality by being with it. If you understand what consciousness, how consciousness, which is God, how consciousness itself is whatever it contemplates. You would see that in the beginning, and you can make a parallel to the human reality. But your breath, ladies and gentlemen, is sacred. We have the capacity to condition others by telling them information. And in a sense, you're not conditioning others, you're conditioning consciousness or yourself. You're conditioning the soul of another individual. Even though the individual is not the soul, but the soul is the conditioned consciousness, the atma. Atma, soul, alma in Spanish, atma in Sanskrit. It makes reference to the soul. The soul is that infinite consciousness, which then has become conditioned. Like if you took from the ocean a glass and you take it from the ocean, and then inside that glass, you have the ocean itself in a glass. Whatever amount could fit in that glass, it is the same substance. It is indifferent from the other, but it is now separate. And that is what people go through as a soul. So, all right, folks, that being said, you need to become aware of how your breath translates into different words. People that have destructive rhythms of breathing communicate their destruction through others and to others, to the consciousness, to the souls, and they condition other people as well. Enjoy the nature. Realize by obtaining from God, you will see that actual speech is a sacrifice. So when consciousness vibrates, it creates the appearance of something, much like the reflection on the surface of water of the moon at night becomes disturbed. And that's disturbed reflection of the moon is how you and I perceive reality. Reality is not disturbed like we are, or how we perceive ourselves to be. You perceive yourself to be disturbed, but that is because of the ripples in consciousness, which by meditation you leave it to rest, and it reflects a different you, and you don't heal. You're actually a different. You are another reflection. You can reflection yourself from consciousness to be somebody that is suffering and sick, or you can reflection from consciousness to be Jiva Mukta, or somebody that has attained liberation from the erroneous perception. You need to perceive that calm, tranquil consciousness, okay? So the breath is actually something that and your senses too. In fact, when you listen to other people bicker or fight, it does create in your body the release of, adrenaline, epinephrine, and your immune system is stimulated into what we call the fight or flight state, from a state of being calm to having your heart race, and get your blood pressure to go up, wake you up, heighten your senses. So other people have that capacity over you. Society does. You frequently go, when we go see movies, we see action movies. Constantly there's people dying, explosions, extremely loud noises. And it provides for a certain type of experience, which unfortunately provides for you, even though it is unreal, it provides a modification of how you are. It modifies you. And it's not in your best of interest, unfortunately. The time is limited.